unmute? Yeah, unmute. Yay. Do I have sound? Because that'd be really cool. Hi, everybody. Hi, Ace. I would just like you to know that a minute ago I waved at the computer screen. Also, I am not happy with my lipstick. So we're just going to pretend that I don't look like I have a clown mouth. And, but yeah, I totally did wave at the computer screen when Ace said hi, despite the fact that neither the camera nor the microphone were on at the time. Well, not the microphone, but if the camera had been on, he would have been able to see me waving. But hi, everybody. So welcome to day 3 of our new streaming schedule. This is Fire Friday. So that means, yes, I'm going to be playing with a torch this evening. Also, I could not for the life of me find a photo of tonight's project on either my stream computer or the cloud. Finally, I decided that I should just give up and get on stream. Okay, this lipstick thing is like really getting to me. So we're going to do lentil pendant tonight. And so, okay, let's talk for a second about what's a lentil shape. So a lentil shape is basically two convex half spheres that are attached together to make not a full sphere, but like kind of a more squashed-y sphere, shaped, unsurprisingly, like the legume lentil. So you can do lots of cool things with lentils. So what I'm going to do this evening is I'm actually going to make a lentil for you, and a solder one out of copper. A UFO shape, exactly. Lori is completely correct. So I'm going to make a lentil for you out of copper, and then I'm going to just kind of illustrate for you verbally, and then, you know, make a final decision of like all of the different things that you can do with that shape. So what do we need in order to make a lentil happen? You're going to need some sheet metal. I'm going to use 24 gauge copper. You're going to need, and no, I did not pre-stage my tools because I apparently don't have that many brain cells. Today, a disc cutter is helpful but not necessary. Anybody who's cut circles out of metal with a shears or a saw knows that the disc cutter is 150% more efficient than that, but they're also expensive. So if you don't have a disc cutter, you can use a shears, you can use a saw, you can also buy pre-cut discs. That's a really great cheat. So you don't actually have to cut your own discs. Also, Lori, I'll drink for you. Because, oh.
He felt a breeze. It was an enthusiastic wave, though.
It was. I was happy to see him. We're always happy to see Ace on the stream.
I know. Or in person.
Or in person. But on the stream these days is much more likely. Hi, Corvus. How are you? I am drinking bourbon and water, Lori. So I will throw myself on that grenade for you. Okay, in addition to your disc cutter, you are going to, and this is not optional, dapping block and dabbing punches, which are not there. Oh, they're on the other side. BRB. So, for those of you who are not familiar, this kind of Swiss cheesy looking thing, pardon me, it's called a dapping block, D-A-P-P. Oh, baby, I'm so sorry. Oh, Corvus, we hug you. Big hugs, we love you. We're so sorry. That is the worstest part of being a pet parent. Like, all of the great things that come with being a pet parent, like the end of the road is so hard. I'm so sorry, Corvus. We love you and we hug you, Heather and I both.
Yes.
So dapping block. So this is a dapping block, and it is specifically used to turn metal from flat pieces into convex pieces. And what goes with your dapping block is your set of dapping punches, which look like little Lego people, and this is what we actually put into the depression in the dapping punch to turn our flat metal into a curve. I know, and
yeah, fully agree with that.
Fully agree with that. Also, you know, after Prana and Pika and Ziggy, you know, it's no matter how long, it's never long enough.
No.
They could live forever, and it still wouldn't be long enough. So, you know, enjoy the time that you have, but it's just, it hurts so much. So, cheers to you, Corvus. We love you. Because, yeah, it's so hard. It's so freaking hard. So, let's bang on some metal. All right, so I'm going to start by cutting my discs of my 24 gauge sheet metal. I'm a little scattered tonight because I am very, very tired because reasons having to do with condo floods and stress. So we're just going to kind of go step by step, and I'll enumerate tools and supplies as needed. Actually, really your only supply for tonight is going to be 24 gauge sheet metal, and then you're going to need some solder, easy or extra easy. Tools, there's a lot of them, so we'll talk about them as we use them. So we're going to start with our disc cutter. So I'm going to start by cutting discs, 2 discs from my copper sheet metal. I will do it, Corvus. I can do that. Oh, I've got the big hammer. So, what size, excuse me, do we want to make our lentil? That's really up to you. I'm going to pick kind of a medium small size because I think I might actually turn mine into a bead rather than a pendant. So I'm going to pick this size here. So I'm going to take my sheet, which I've already obviously cut several discs out of, and I'm just going to put that in my disc cutter. Make sure that your sheet is completely filling the hole that you are wanting to use to cut your disc. Most disc cutters will have a little crank that you can crank around to lock it down, and then we're going to find the punch that goes with that hole. That's not the one, that's too small. There you go. Okay, why am I all of a sudden, I can't work a disc cutter? Bear with me for a second whilst I figure out what's going wrong in my head. Okay, that one goes, no, okay, this is the one. Heather, I'm losing it. I'm officially losing it.
Well, as long as it's official.
It is official, like, get a diagnosis.
It's been a lot of thinking this week. I cannot blame you at all.
It's been a lot of everything. Okay, so I've got my cutter or my punch that fits. Thank you, Corvus. This was okay, this shirt is actually one of the reasons that I should have parental controls on my phone. There we go, finally. Because I literally ordered this shirt at 2 o'clock in the morning and forgot that I ordered it until it showed up. Also, my audio sucks right now. It's not in sync. Let's bang on some metal. How about that?
Do it.
Take your hammer, smash the living crap out of this. And try and do it without smashing the crap out of my camera. It's going to get loud. So if you want to turn the volume down, you've got 3, 2, 1, and here we go. Okay, so when it goes all the way down, you know that you have successfully cut your disc. And then I'm going to do one more. So you just want to loosen up your disc cutter, move your metal over. Once again, you want to make sure that the size that you're planning to cut has a full edge to edge amount of metal. So this is the one I'm cutting right here. And then you're just gonna put your punch in there and again, pound the crap out of it. All right, so that gives me 2 discs, which I can now use to make my lentil. But yeah, this was, this shirt was, it wasn't the same night as the phone case, but it was, I think, either the night before or the night after when I was shopping my feelings and then, you know, woke up in the morning not remembering that I had bought stuff. You know, once again, I need parental controls. I should just not be allowed to touch my phone after, you know, midnight, especially if there are shopping sites involved. Okay, now we're going to dap these, meaning we're going to turn them from flat into curved pieces. So when you're dapping, you want to find the smallest hole in your dapping block that your pieces will go all the way down into. So you don't want them to sit on the surface. So like this one, this part here of my dapping block, this hole is too small because my piece won't go down in it. So this one, on the other hand, is perfect. Then you're going to find the biggest dapping punch you have, and once again, the block and the punches usually come as a set. Well, I mean, I think the only benefit of being an adult is even if you make bad choices like shopping your feelings, you've got no one to answer to but yourself. That's all I got for you, Corvus. That's it. But yeah, yeah. So you can shop your feelings, you can eat your feelings, you can pound your feelings, like whatever your feelings need to do. The only person you are responsible to is yourself. So, you know, it's a thing. But I bought a lot of shirts, so there's going to be a lot of new shirts on stream for the next week or so. So, now we're going to go ahead. We're going to dap this, also called doming. Dapping is the proper term, but it creates a dome, so, you know, either one is technically correct. So I'm using the biggest dapping punch that I have. Why did I put my hammer away like an idiot? Come back here, hammer. So I'm just gonna set my, so real quick, let me back up this bus. So you need to make sure that your dapping punch will go completely into your hole, just like your disc. So I have problems a lot of times with students being like, this is the right dapping punch for this hole. And like that one is, it's just barely, but you know, you go here and it doesn't even go down in there. And so that what that's gonna do if you use a punch that's too small for the depression that it's in is it's gonna make scars on your punch, and that's going to equate to scars on your metal. So make sure that you are using the right size punch for the depression. Oh, that's actually a really great way to deal with that, Lori. Okay, so I've got my metal in my dapping block.
I like that.
Yes, I like Corvus's version as well. Also, I ate 3 pieces of garlic bread this morning, and I don't have a migraine, so I need to do I need to do a gluten trial. I wonder if I'm not allergic to it anymore. But you and Carol Heather definitely got fewer pieces of garlic bread because that's what I ate for breakfast.
Got it.
All right, so you're going to put the punch on top of the metal, and then I'm just going to tap it with my hammer. So it's now taking on that domed shape. If you want it to be even more domed, you can, now that I have hammered it, I could move it to a smaller domed bit, and then I could dome it more, but I actually think I kind of like this. I like this level of relief, so we're gonna stick with that. So now I'm gonna do the same with my other piece. And I got a weird, I got a weird mar when I was cutting this, so I'm just gonna put that on the inside of the bead, and no one's ever gonna know it's there. Yeah, this morning I was not having a great morning, and I was very hungry, and so I was like, screw it, I'm gonna eat 3 pieces of garlic bread and take a Benadryl, and we're gonna see how this goes. And I did not get a migraine. So, you know, but being able to eat gluten again is a double-edged sword, because then I will just want all of the pizza, all of the pasta, all of the bread, and all of these new shirts that I bought will no longer fit me. Just saying. If you're gonna shop your feelings, you should at least, you know, stay the same size, maybe? Okay, so now I have 2 hemispheres, and I am officially done with that, and I need sandpaper. I need coarse sandpaper, which I do not have over here. So, BRB. Sandpaper file.
I love that you have a sandpaper file.
Yes, well.
I mean, everyone should.
That's fair. I did not eat gluten sparingly this morning, though. I was like, okay, confession time on the Beading Dream stream. Garlic bread dipped in Italian dressing is one of my favorite things in the world.
Yes. And
that's what I ate for breakfast this morning, and it was the garlic bread that I was making for Carol and Heather, so it was not gluten-free. God, it was so good. It was just like, oh, it was the best fat kid food ever. Because you're taking carbs that are coated in fat, and then you're dipping them in more fat, and you're eating them, and oh my gosh, it was fan-freaking-tastic. Yeah, my mom has problems with caffeines, with actually pain in her breasts. So, yeah. All right. So now what I'm going to do is we're going to sand this. So what happens when you dap these is, so you're taking the flat metal and you're curving it, which means that you don't have a flat edge here anymore, because literally your flat edge from your disc has now become angled. So what we're going to do is we're now going to take this and we're going to sand that flat so that we can solder these together. So I'm just going to take some sandpaper and, oh, that, ouch, cut my thumb. It's not happy. It's angy. Angy thumbs. Yes, it can. It can also, however, stop you from falling asleep on the road and crashing your car into a pole. So, you know, there are pros and cons. So what we're looking for on this is hopefully you can see this kind of like, see this flat, shiny surface around the edge here? So that's what I've sanded. So what I want is to create a surface on this piece and on my other piece that will then marry together to make my lentil. All right, I'm going to do the other piece. See, unfortunately, the only benefit I get from not drinking caffeine, as Heather can testify, is I get to fall asleep in my streaming area for several hours before I go home.
Mm-hmm. It was only about an hour.
Was it really only about an hour?
Yeah, it wasn't It seems like longer.
It felt like longer. Seriously, I need, Heather and I both need a week of vacation, a week to sleep, and a large stack of $20 bills to split between us.
I would argue more than just a stack.
Are you going to look a gift stack in the mouth?
I'm not, but I feel like to really help us, it needs to be like in a duffel bag.
It does, but I wouldn't say no to a stack of 20s, and I would totally split it with you because you're my friend and I love you.
I used to have a stack of 20s.
Well,
things happen.
Hi, Keiko. No, there seem to be some lagging issues with sound today, and I don't know why. But considering that we're getting to the end of this project, I think I'm just going to ask everyone to bear with it rather than starting everything over. Don't look a gift stack in the house. Oh, Corvus, I sent you some new button sayings that are mom appropriate. If you want to, well, there's the stream sniffles. If you want to incorporate them into the graphic, you don't have to, just they are options that once again are mom appropriate. Also the one about Labradorite or Labrador wrong is also kind of a little, middle finger to her. So
it is. So if that one fits, then
yeah, if it fits, then oh, guys.
Yes, that's actually technically not a button. I just made it up and added it to the button list.
No, but it's officially on the button list because you made it up and said it should be a button.
True.
Like, I mean, there's not really a vetting process here.
Yeah, so it says there's no such thing as Labrador wrong.
Yes, I sent you 3 new button things, Corvus, by text earlier today. All right, so now I have my 2 dapped pieces, dapped and sanded pieces. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flux one and I'm going to sweat some solder onto it. Which means I need solder. Okay, I have solder, yay. And I need a brush for my flux. It smells like spaghetti in here.
I don't know why.
I do. I'm betting you're eating spaghetti.
How'd you figure it out?
Because I can smell it. So yes, so I, since times are a little tough right now, I've been cooking lunch for my staff. I probably said that before. So yes, today I was feeling Italian. So I made spaghetti and stuffed bell peppers and garlic bread. And nobody complained, so I'm guessing it was good.
Can't stop eating.
Fair. When Heather's done eating, she will tell you all how terrible it was.
So bad?
Yeah. I can tell by the rate at which you're not talking.
Mm-hmm.
I also have nothing over here that's capable of cutting metal except my disc cutter. Be right back again.
That's awful.
Oh, wildfires. Oh, God. Seriously, y'all, the weather be great. The climate is going haywire.
But it's not real.
That totally sucks. The wildfires. I would, I mean, I would be willing to bet you, Lori, that we're going to be dealing with wildfires here in Texas at some point within the next couple months. And Lord bless California, Corvus. I bet y'all are going to be dealing with it too. because everything is just wacky. It's completely screwed up. And no one really seems to care about trying to actually fix it. I will say, however, I may have scored some free new plants for my new garden today, because I was at a client's house and one of her friends was talking about dividing her perennials. So hooray for new plants that will make oxygen and eat carbon dioxide and stabilize soil so that it won't run away when it rains really hard. All right, seriously, no, we do not want Monty Python soil. We want the opposite of that. But like, just insanity. So I have done stuff whilst I was talking. So what I have is I have flexed both sides of my lentil, and I've got several pieces of solder. I'm going to transfer those pieces of solder onto one side of my lentil, then I'm going to put the other side on there, and then I'm going to heat it until the solder flows, and I'm going to hope that it works. Okay, well that's unfortunate. The lighter. Need a lighter. BRB. Yes, Heather is a very good wordsmith, actually. She is much wittier than I am. I am not witty.
I think it's because my parents talk that way.
I would not qualify my mom as witty. My dad is good with words, but he's got the Emmerich pun gene, so I did not always appreciate, still do not always appreciate his quote-unquote wit. Because we all know on this stream how much I love puns. If you actually think I love puns, you're fired from the stream. So I'm just taking my 3 pieces of solder and positioning them equidistantly around my dapped piece. And the tricky thing here is you don't want them to run to the outside. You don't want them to run to the inside. You want them to run around that seam. So we're going to do our best to make that the hottest part possible and see if we can get some solder to run around that seam. This one definitely seems like it wants to go to the outside. No. Because I do need to get this to sweat before I put the other side on. Otherwise, it won't sit right. Okay, well, that one went a little bit to the inside, but mostly it worked. Alright. Okay, so there we got our solder sweat. Now we're going to go ahead and grab tweezers. And, ooh, hear the sizzle. I feel like we're cooking a steak up in here.
Does not smell like you're cooking steak.
How would you know?
It's not like I've ever... like I've been isolated from meat smells. Trust me.
Actually, I think if this smell is the smell that is happening when you're cooking a steak,
you're doing it.
You're doing it very wrong. You may actually be using something that's not actually a steak. So yeah, you know.
Are you cooking shoes?
Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and heat this whole thing. So I've got my solder sweat onto the bottom portion. I'm just gonna heat this until the solder reflows and bonds everything together. I mean, it's actually more like, are you cooking borax? Which, by the way, don't eat borax. It is poison. It's designed to clean shirts and kill rats. So unless you're a shirt that needs cleaning or a rat that needs killing, just don't. Okay, so what's going to happen ideally is what just happened here, which is you're going to be looking at this seam between the two halves, and you're going to see that solder kind of flow through the seam, and the seam's going to kind of suck itself closed, kind of like a clam that's like, fuck you, get off my lawn. And I'm gonna just clam up, har har har, and I don't want to talk to you. The idea is we want to get that solder seam all the way around to make a real lentil. And that's bad. Don't do that, y'all. Oh my god, it was going so well, and now it's gone so far awry. What the actual hell did I just do? I ruined it. I killed it. I ruined everything. Okay, it's back. I think I can save it. I'm gonna see. Also, I have to be careful not to melt my camera because I've already done that before. But everything was soldered together, and then I poked it in the wrong place, and I feel like there are a lot. I feel like there are a lot of mistakes that have come from something being poked in the wrong place.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly even some like global altering ones. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this cool for a second, and I'm going to see if this is actually soldered together or if I've completely screwed it up. Whilst I'm waiting for it to cool, I am going to calmly drink my drink and contemplate my life choices.
I was just looking for my drink, which my phone is on.
Ah. And the fact that I may have completely screwed up this project on stream. All right, so it's cool enough to be stuck to the solder board. So let's go ahead and employ a little bit of fire to get that. Ooh, and wow, I completely almost set those feathers on fire. I should take those home. That's a terrible place for feathers to be. Now, when you're doing something like this, when this is stuck to the solder board, you want to be careful. Because if you flick it, it's hot. It's going to set things on fire. Okay, so no, this is not great. There's a very, very visible gap here, so I'm going to try and add a little bit more heat. See if I can fix that. Okay, but Keiko, here's the thing. You gotta make the dumb mistakes in order to get good at it. Like, there is no way around it. You have to be a dumbass in order to become a badass.
Right.
I feel like that should be a button as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you gotta make the stupid mistakes. You gotta ruin stuff. You've gotta just be like, oh, that was a poor choice, and I committed to that 100%, and now I am regretting it 5,000%. And it's just the way you learn stuff like this. Okay, all right. So I have. Nope. Nudge. Okay, I think I've got everything nudged in place. Oh, why you shift? I saw you shift. What'd you do? Damn it! This is my inner monologue, which is no longer inner. Alright, so now this looks like a chimney edge. It's like completely black. And we're gonna see if I can actually get it to connect again. So here's the other thing. If your metal gets too oxidized, it does not want to solder together. Okay, well, Keiko, don't catch everything on fire, because we love you, and we don't want you to burn to death. So I'm going to give this a minute and we're going to see. Oh, I failed. Look at that. Look how bad that is. It is so not connected in any way at all. Like, wow. I will say that I said a while back that it's been a minute since we had an episode of Allison Screws Up on the Internet, and that is exactly what this is right now. Because this, okay, this is salvageable. However, before I can do anything more with this, really realistically, what I need to do is I need to pickle it. I need to clean all of this black stuff off of it. And then I probably need to re-sand my edges, and then I need to retry soldering it. So this is not a lost cause, but it's also not a project I'm going to get done on stream tonight, because in order to have an actual chance of salvaging this, there's some cleanup that needs to be done. So I'm going to spend the last few minutes of my stream talking about what needs to be done to salvage this and why. So you will notice that this copper is completely black. Okay, so when you are soldering your metal, if it is coated with a layer of oxide, which is what this black stuff is, the solder will, for the most part, like sometimes you get lucky, but for the most part, the solder will not flow onto the oxidized metal. Now, sometimes you can cheat a bit. So if I were desperate, if this were a customer project, a client project that were due tomorrow, what I would try is I would try fluxing the ever-living crap out of both of these edges and see if the flux would mitigate the fire scale that's on here. But what one really should do, if one's going to properly try and salvage this project, would be take these two nicely cut and nicely dapped hemispheres, because I did that part right, and put them in pickle, or just throw them in a tumbler for about 12 hours so that all of this black stuff gets cleaned off. Then, for good measure, I would grab my sandpaper again, and I would do what I did earlier in the stream. I would take my hemispheres, I would put them open, sound. Oh, good night, Corvus. We love you so much. And let us know if you need us, okay?
Yes.
Anytime. I'm so happy to make you smile with my screw-ups anytime. Also, please update us as to what flavor milkshake.
Yes.
So, for good measure, after I had cleaned all of this black stuff off of it, I would probably grab my sandpaper and I would just do a really quick re-sand of the edges of the two halves of my lentil, just because in case anything was lingering on there after the pickling and the cleaning, that would get it off. And then I would add more solder, because the sanding process would remove the solder that I had on there. So I would once again do 3 pieces of solder, and then I would try what I just tried again, hopefully successfully. Now, let's talk for just a minute before I get off about what you can do with your lentil shape once it is soldered together. So the project photo, which once again I don't seem to have, was a pendant. So I have my lentil that was 3-dimensional, and I drilled here and here. So basically on the upper 25% of the lentil, and then strung a chain through it. So that's a really good way to make it pendant. But there's so many other things you can do with this shape. You can drill, and once again, we're going to imagine that I've got my 2 hemispheres soldered together. So you can do right down through the center, and that is essentially a lentil bead with the drill on the short axis. You can also drill down on the top to make a pendant, or you can drill on both sides to make a center component for a bracelet, or an off-center component for a necklace. So your lentil shape is extremely useful and not that difficult to execute, even though I failed at my, oh boy, even though I failed at mine tonight, once you get the hang of it, it's really not that hard. So, again, discs turn to domes, domes turn to lentils, and there's a whole lot of potential at that point for design and doing cool things. So I did not successfully complete my project tonight. I failed. I get definitely an F for this stream, maybe like a D plus, because I did successfully cut and dap my shapes, but I did not successfully complete the project. But since there's a solid probably hour at least of chemical and physical work that needs to go into salvaging this project, I'm not going to try to do it on stream. I'm just going to go ahead and let you guys go. So tomorrow night is Freeform Saturday, so maybe if I get these tumbled up, I'll finish them for y'all tomorrow night on stream, and we can have some fun while I'm doing that. So everyone have a great night. Thank you so much for bearing with us while we're dealing with our new streaming schedule, and we will see you all back on this channel, twitch.tv/Beading Dream tomorrow night at 6 p.m. for Social Saturday, which is once again going to be a freeform, and I'm going to probably finish this lentil after I've had some sleep. Everyone have a good one, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye!